Hello, everybody. My name is Tanya Ettinger. I am the Pittsburgh wedding planner and your luxury event concierge. And recently, I'm already an influencer in Pittsburgh. And recently, I wanted to up my game and I connected with Aaron Hunt Photography. And he also owns personal branding Photog, which we're going to talk about today. And we're going to talk about how he helped me to level up.
Great.
So welcome, Aaron Hunt.
Nice to be here. Thank you, Tanya.
You're welcome. So let's talk a little bit about your business. Tell me a little bit about what type of client are you looking for?
Yeah, I mean, so, what I do as a photographer at this point is I work with entrepreneurs and business owners, usually female entrepreneurs, to be honest with you. And it's just sort of the way it's worked out. But what I help people do is to really create images that connect with their ideal client. And that's all I do right now is photography for business owners.
Oh, I love that. So tell us a little bit about how this came to be your passion.
So I was one of those kids that, I always loved taking photos, but I didn't grow up in, a wealthy family by any means. We couldn't afford a good camera, so I just grew up shooting whatever that I could, and then life takes you where you're supposed to go. And I was an engineer in the corporate world for 25 years and did some amazing things. And all along the way, I was always taking pictures. And then about 7 years ago, I decided, with my engineer mind, I wanted to find a new camera, the highest resolution that I could find. And what I learned was film was still higher resolution than the digital cameras of the time. And so I got back into shooting film, took some classes at the Pittsburgh Filmmakers Institute, which unfortunately isn't around anymore. And I just really started, getting back in touch with that passion for photography, learned to develop my own stuff, print my own photos. And then I just started shooting all kinds of different events, doing a lot of racing, doing some different things. And a couple years ago, I switched over to digital photography, and literally the very first event that I took photos at, they wanted to buy the photos. And then, a week later, I did a racing event and they wanted to buy some photos. And I said, hey, maybe there's something to this. And it's just over the course of about a year of building the business, I realized that I could combine my love of photography with my business expertise and help business owners essentially make more money, right? How do I help them grow their business? How do I help them attract more clients and really show themselves in an authentic way? And so that's sort of how the personal brand Photog came to be.
Oh, very interesting. So tell us about some of your accolades.
Yeah, so I've never been, one to really pursue a lot of accolades. And even in my corporate career, it's sort of people like, hey, should I go for this certification? I'm like, can you do the job or not? Right. I really don't worry about it. But I have worked at this point in 12 different countries in 31 states, which isn't really an accolade, but it's an achievement of sorts. I've shot for major publications, the largest one being a national publication called Into Publications. In fact, I think I have a new issue coming out in November where I've got 4 or 5 articles where I've done some work for them. Last year, I was chosen to be the photographer for a national championship racing event, which is something that I've always been passionate about. So it's sort of neat to essentially get to the pinnacle of that and to be the official photographer. And then today, actually, I also have a podcast called Your Personal Brand. And I just got word today that podcast is now in the top 100 in marketing podcasts in the United States and Canada. And it's number 3 in the Dominican Republic if you're there. So,
Yay!
So, yeah. So, I mean, it's just.
That's congratulations. That's amazing.
Thanks. So it's just, it's the idea of, as I started thinking about personal branding, as I really got into it, a lot of people weren't real clear on what it was. So I started that podcast as a way to just maybe educate people, but to share even more about, what I know in the personal branding space.
So here's some point blank questions. We all want to know what's in it for me. And so I want to know, like, before we started working together, we made a few connections and a few phone calls. And what does my brand say about me, Tanya Ettinger?
Well, I think, one of the things that I first thought about when I saw you was like, okay, this is a fun person, right? This is somebody who's really, cool. You're unique. You have a different perspective, and so that was what I thought of right off the bat. And, and then as we got a chance to start working together, you have this idea of, this idea of magic, right? And you always say, let's make some
Yes.
magic together. And so when we started planning your photo shoot, I was trying to think about different ways that we can almost get a little bit of a magical feel or a special feel to it as well. And it's definitely, anytime I start thinking about, something magical, I think of you. So that's,
Well, then I'm doing my job.
yeah,
Yay.
exactly.
I have this lovely photo in the background here that Aaron did for me. And like I loved almost every single picture in my photo shoot. And like, okay, this just makes me effervesce when I see this. Look at my Peter Pan feet right here. Yes, you can see that I am flying away there and making magic happen. And I don't know, like, I just love that photo so much. It
Yeah.
just makes me so happy. I walk into my office in the morning and I'm like,
Yeah, I gotta, and I try to create signature photos for my VIP clients when I can, right? Sometimes there's just not, we don't have the right idea, but when we
right.
started coming up with that idea, and then we did the shoot at PPG Place, like as soon as I clicked the shutter, I'm like, this is going to be awesome, right?
Yes.
So it's, so
That
we
better
had
go
it.
viral.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. It's definitely one of my favorites, and I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up on my wall at some point as well. So.
Okay, so that being said, what's in it for other people? So how can the branding, how does that help a business?
Yeah, there are a lot of different ways that it helps. And in fact, I think recently I was working on a blog post and I came up with over 20 different ways that it makes an impact. But I just want to focus on a couple of the key ones. I think number one, for many, many entrepreneurs, it starts with the confidence factor, right?
Yes.
And just, because a lot of people are like, I don't look good in photos, or I'm never happy with my photos. And there's a process to getting good photos that really tell the story of your brand. And when you have them, I think it does raise your confidence game to another level. And that allows you to connect more with people, to be, quite frankly, might allow you to charge more for your services too, right? Because when you're confident in what you do, it allows you to do a lot more and just own it, So I think that's one of the big ones for a lot of people. Now there are, maybe 10 or 20% of the people that I work with that they don't suffer from anything along those lines. But then what it allows you to start doing is it can save you just time and money. So if
Yes.
you post on social media on a regular basis, one of the things that people struggle with, and one of the things that holds people back from doing it is like, I don't have photos to post, or I don't know what I should post. But when we do a shoot like this, in my VIP package, you get at least 75 images to start with. And now, Tanya's like, I liked almost everything, right? And so she bought extra photos, and that's wonderful. But now she's got 6 months, 9 months worth of photos where it can be like, oh, which photo do I want to use? And you put it out there. So it does save you some time and money. The next thing is it really starts, like, we try to craft a story. Every one of my photo shoots is unique. And now you start getting photos that are really on brand with what you do, right? And it's now you can show things that are authentic. They start giving people a feeling of what it might be like to work with you. And so you start developing a little bit more of that know, like, and trust factor before people even really get to know you. Right. And then when they meet you, it's sort of like, oh, this is exactly like the photos. This is what it feels like. So those are a couple of things that it can do. Ultimately, all of those things will lead you to make more money. And that's my goal. My goal is to give you images that help you earn more money with your business. And that's one of the big differences between, a brand photographer or a commercial photographer and, maybe a portrait photographer or a family photographer, is that we expect you to go make money with the images we create for you. And nothing makes me happier than when, a new book comes out or a client opens a new office and they're like, hey, we need some photos. And like instantaneously they're sharing them out, to their followers. So that's, probably three of the big ones to me.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like as I was looking through my gallery, I was just wowed because I was like, wow, there's so much stuff here for me to be able to share. I'm the face of my company.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all the pictures, there's ones with me eating my glasses, kind of like thinking, and I do that a lot. So, you know, that just, you captured that moment for me that I already do some quirky things,
Yeah.
so that you just made me look fantastic, and I really do love every single photo in there.
Well,
um,
you know, and that's the thing. I did a shoot yesterday or the day before, you know, a couple days ago actually. Now, boy, the days run together. And
right,
you know, and same thing. You know, they get 75 photos. When I go through and do, you know, the quick edit, you know, I got 275 photos from, you know, a partial day of shooting that I'm thinking like all of these are incredible, right?
right,
And you know, and again, you experienced it firsthand. But because we start developing a relationship and I spend time to get to know you, and
yes,
you know, all of my clients go through a questionnaire to sort of start thinking about what your brand is and what do you want people to feel when they think about your business and see it. Well, through that development process, then I get to know you a little bit better. You get to be more comfortable with me. And then while we're spending time together, I'll be like, oh, hey, wait a minute, do that again. Right. Because I catch that like this is something this person does all the time and it's
right,
cool. So let me get a picture of this. You know, and I try to capture those kinds of things. And that's part of why in, you know, in my opinion, a good branding shoot, it takes some time, right?
right.
And I want you to clear some of your calendar because I don't want you to feel rushed. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable because we want to catch those really authentic images and do something that's, you know, a little bit more cool than just a standard photo shoot in front of a backdrop.
Right, right. And I totally did feel relaxed. I felt like you knew me, you knew what I was going after. You had already asked about my ideal client. And we had talked a little bit about that. So I think that just really encouraged me to feel even more confident that I already am, because I knew that you were making connections through the photos
Yeah.
for people that I'm going to meet in the future. And that kind of was a part that really wowed me.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and that's absolutely the goal. And in fact, there was, I don't know, a couple hours into, maybe not even a couple hours into the shoot with you, you're like, I can't believe how much fun I'm having, right? And that's really my goal, is because
Yep.
if my clients are having fun during their photo shoot, then they're going to look like somebody that you want to work with, right?
Right.
And they're going to look very natural and relaxed. And it does take a little bit more effort than just a traditional photo shoot,
Right.
but I find it so worth it.
I definitely found it worth it. And I'm excited to start sharing a lot of those on social media. I have been working on my Hootsuite.
Awesome. Sounds good.
So why should we trust our businesses to you for capturing and sharing our branding story? You kind of touched a little bit on it, but
Yeah.
like any like thoughts or anything?
Well, I mean, you know, I guess the first thing I'll say is like, well, maybe you shouldn't, right? And I only mean
Right.
that because I like to work with people that I connect with as well, right?
Right.
And so I think one of the most important things you can do with working with a personal branding photographer is to work with somebody that you like, right? That you like, hey, I can spend some time with this person, because to get good photos, that's what you're going to need to do. But
Absolutely.
so, you know, that aside, you know, if you're like, hey, you know, I think I do want to work with you. I think the thing that sets me apart more than anything else is that, you know, I've spent 25 years helping businesses make millions of extra dollars a year. I really have the business expertise, and the photography has been a passion for my entire life, but now it's becoming something that, you know, quite frankly, as the next career for me, it's like, how do I combine this love of visual creativity with helping businesses grow? And so that is probably the thing that sets me apart the most, is that, you know, a lot of photographers, and I have a ton of photographer friends, and I'm speaking because this is what they tell me, you know, they can do great photos. They have no idea, you know, how to do the business part of it. And so some people do struggle with this type of photography. And quite frankly, many people have never even considered that there is a specific niche of personal branding. And so, you know, one of the things that I like to think about is, you know, everybody has superpowers. Everybody has these amazing things that help serve your clients.
Right.
And we just need to figure out how to get the message out there better. Right. And you know, so I like to try to make you the hero of your brand. Like that's my goal. My goal is to be, sort of the reporter that catches Clark Kent turning into Superman, and documents that, right? Or,
People are going
Tanya
to know my
creating magic
secrets
on the
now.
web. Yeah, well, but that's the goal,
That's my
right? And
juice.
yeah, and so so that's probably the biggest thing is that I'm really passionate about seeing small businesses grow, and I've got a track record of 25 years of growing businesses and improving profits. And so it's just, I think you combine that with, my engineering mindset, my, sharp, vivid images. You're not going to get the light and airy look from me. There's going to be high detail, high saturation. All of those things add up to make a really striking image.
Sounds good. So like how often should we update our websites with branding photography?
Yeah, updating the websites, it depends on how seasonal your business is. But, if there is some seasonality to your business, it may make sense to do that quarterly. I think the bigger thing is on the social media side of things. How do you have a fresh library of images that's relevant to what you're doing, relevant to the seasons, so that your Instagram palette changes a little bit with the different seasons. I have many clients that basically, they're on a retainer package, or I call it a subscription package, where we shoot 4 times a year. We do a full shoot with them. In fact, that was the shoot that I recently did. It was an insurance agency, and we not only do the owner, but we also do all of her agents, some of the other staff. We do the building, we do some flat lays, we do some different little things, so that she has material for the fall. And with the subscription package, instead of having to pay the full price of a photo shoot, like every time you need it, it levels out the cost. So basically you're breaking that cost of the photo shoot down across, on average 3 months. And it just gives you a nice even plan. So most of my clients are pretty heavy users, and they appreciate the 4 times a year photo shoots. And my goal is to create 3 months worth of content in one day for you. And so, we can do that. But websites, once a year or so, it's good for a refresh. Things change, style change. In fact, I actually have a personal shoot coming up in New York City on Monday morning. And because my images are from February, and I'm like, and COVID sort of had one of my shoots canceled. So I'm looking forward to getting some fresh images here for November and December up on my website.
That sounds amazing. So thank you for helping us to understand with that timeline, how to keep our websites looking fresh so that our clients continue to know that we're continuing to grow and continuing to be there for them.
Yeah, I just like to say that if you look like you invest in yourself, people are more likely to invest in you, right? I mean, it's just, and so that's sort of the method that I usually use even with my own business.
Sage advice. We appreciate it. And so lastly, I want to talk a little bit about you. You had just hosted a summit, and I know it's over now, but so for those of us that are in business, we don't know what we're doing or need some marketing advice, and definitely need to update our photos and stuff. How can we follow you, Aaron?
Yeah. So, you can, Instagram is probably one of the best places to follow me. It's at the personal brand Photog. You can also, I send an email out maybe about once a week or so to my email list. And if you go to the website at the personalbrandphotog.com, there's a place to sign up for my email list. I also have a couple freebies there where, if you want to get a guide to how to plan for your photo shoot, I have that for free. But then you'll get, the emails or so. And probably the biggest thing on the emails is as I can travel and as I can do shoots. And again, New York is booked this weekend. But as I have those things come up, I do share those with my email list first. Say, hey, I'm going to be, last winter I did a couple shoots in Florida. And it gives people a chance, if you're interested, to shoot with me at a remote location without paying the travel cost, right? Like, you just got to get yourself there. I'm already going to be there. So I like to try to have a couple slots when I do a trip like that if I can. Unfortunately, just the New York thing with all of the backlog, it booked up immediately. So.
That's fantastic. I would love a destination shoot. That might have to go on my book of dreams.
Be pre-COVID, it was half of my business, and I expect it will be sometime soon. But right now, I'm doing a lot more in the Pittsburgh area, and then places that I can just drive to for the most part.
Well, that's fantastic. We appreciate your time today, Aaron. I will drop these links in there for us to be able to contact you. And I cannot thank you enough. I did have so much fun at my photo shoot. I cannot wait to do it again. I
Yep.
love your retainer package. So I'm going to be creeping on your page and looking to upgrade because I think that would be fantastic.
Yep.
I have beautiful black hair, and I feel like we might get some snow this year, and I might be into doing some snowy stuff. So
That would be an absolute blast.
yes,
Can't
yes.
wait till we can try to do that together.
So just wrapping up, everybody, this is Aaron Hunt of Aaron Hunt Photography and the personal brand Photog.com. And I am Tanya Ettinger with Weddings and Events of Pittsburgh. And I am here to make magic for you. And I hope you learned some magic today. Have a fabulous day. Bye, everybody.